Krunchy. Stays crunchy. Milk.
So, having really had the Clips album hooks deep within me, I wouldn't think anything could come along and make me go, nah. Until, as discussed last week with Nick Jew, but going to be discussed further right now with my man Boxer, Alfredo 2 drop. The Alchemist, Freddie Gibbs, Al and Alfredo, joining forces once again to make, I don't know, bro, what is currently second only to the Clips album to me, and only by a smidgen, but it's got it in me, and I just like I've been spinning my vinyl. You kind of see it if I go pointing there, although I have the sleeve over here, so we can discuss further. And of course, I like this art better than the art, the main album art, but the main album art is meant to match the OG, which is me. Actually, I should have had those already. My apologies. Alfredo. Freddie Gibbs. Pull up the original for you. Boop. That's not. There we go. Let's open image in a new tab. And then I'll show you what that one looks like. And then Alfredo 2. So I can have both those pulled up for you. Oh, yeah. All right. Now let's do some screen sharing. So I jumped through all these hoops. Sorry, y'all. I just want to discuss this, and I didn't make Box do a damn thing because he's a grown ass man who can do whatever he wants. But I asked Box.
No, you made me. If you knew, I wouldn't say
no. No, you could decline, but you wouldn't decline because you're my man. But
and you know that.
You're like, I don't know, man. But also, it means I owe you one. And of course, that means you could be like, you got to listen to some shit too, T, and I will gladly just play your favorite. This is the original Alfredo 1. This is the Alfredo 2. And of course, that's the actual cover. But of course, I have. Stop sharing right quick. If I can. Oh, I'm on the wrong side of the screen. Oh, there we go. I have the Spotify Fans First Edition, which has a different art, and I like that art better. I also like how the parental advisories in Japanese. And I should put that in Google Translate and see what it is. Anyway, Xbox to listen to this album. One, because I hope he'd dig it. Doesn't mean he would, but I hope he would. But also, I just wanted to discuss it, and I just was like jonesing to discuss it with somebody, and why not force my friend to do it? So, having given it a listen, I assume the singular listen. If I'm wrong, you can correct me.
It was a singular listen, and it was today while I was working.
Very good. Did you pick up on anything from it? Did you think, or was it just background music to you?
Here's what I will say. Some of the songs were kind of like background music to me. Mm. And that's because I wasn't really feeling the flow of the song. And now, don't get me wrong, I can't name the songs or be very particular. Yeah. With I'm speaking in generalities right now because, like I said, I only listened to it once. Yeah. It was while I was working, so it wasn't like I was memorizing the names of songs or anything. But there were some songs that did catch my attention.
Yeah.
Particularly the first song really did kind of I mean, I obviously I agreed to do this because you asked me to, so I wasn't really going in it with the greatest of enthusiasms. It felt like more like homework I had to do. But the first song didn't do anything to make the situation feel worse or oh my god, this is gonna be terrible.
Yeah.
The first song was kind of catchy.
Yeah.
What I can tell you about the album was, for me, as someone who's never listened to this man's work a day in my life, wasn't even familiar with who he was, don't know his style, don't know anything about him.
Yeah.
I enjoyed a lot of the songs' instrumental backgrounds. They had kind of a jazzy, like I felt like I was listening to different variations of like Childish Gambino's Redbone.
Okay.
And so like it made me interested. Like I didn't necessarily always care about the lyrics.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was listening to good, like easy listening music. Now, I did notice there was a lot of fellatio talk sprinkled amongst the album. Lot of boner jams going on. But I'm not here to judge the lyrics per se, because like I said, I was listening but also working. So
yeah, for sure.
There were some songs that I was like, all right, that was all right, and then there were some songs where they just like what I was hearing just didn't grab me.
I hear you, I understand that for your ears and your sensibility for this particular.
And I think they were more of the songs that didn't have necessarily like that a high energy jazzy kind of background or whatever. They were more kind of like just monotone-ish of sorts.
Yeah.
But overall, like I didn't think it was a bad album or anything. Like I, forced to listen to it some more times, I imagine I'd probably have like a greater opinion of individual songs.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, like I didn't hate it or anything.
I truly didn't expect you to. The Alchemist is this insanely amazing producer, like a white boy from Beverly Hills, California, and if you watch, and I know you did, any of Fuck That's Delicious with
Action Bronson.
Action, the little short white dude that was kind of always hanging out with him. He just froze on me. All right, there you go. That's the Alchemist, and so he does all he has. He's a producer more than anything else. He did start as a rapper. He was in a white boy rap group. What was the Alchemist's rap group called? I can't remember. I gotta look it up for you because it's hilarious. The Alchemist used to not hilarious he just started out in a way. He was in a rap group with I gotta remember the actor's name.
Jamie Kennedy?
No.
I thought you were talking about Stu Stone here for a second, the way you were describing it.
No, man. He was in Scott Conn. So oh my gosh. You know the actor because he was like in The Godfather, so forth and so on.
I've never seen The Godfather.
And if okay, we're putting that on the list, sir. James Conn. The actor James Conn was his father, who passed away just a few years ago. And I'm trying to find you something that you wouldn't know, James. The dad from what was he in? Hold on. You can pull up James Conn's filmography. It happens to be right here. I'm trying to grab a movie that I know you know him from. The dad from Elf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's James Conn. That was his father. And Scott Conn, if you saw him, you probably he was in Hawaii Five-0, the TV show. He's an actor. Let's see, he was in Ocean's 11. I'm trying to pull something that you would know him from. He was in all the Ocean's movies, so he must have been whatever he was. He must have been a big part of Enemy of the State.
I've never watched those either.
He was in Entourage. He played Scott Lavin in Entourage. 19 episodes of Entourage.
Never watched Entourage.
Vice Principals?
I haven't watched it yet.
Let's see. Well, anyway, Scott Conn, James Conn's son, used to be in a rap group with The Alchemist called The Hooligans.
Oh, this guy. He was in Friday Night Lights, right? He was a Skeeter or Dieter or whatever. Tweeter. Charlie Tweeter. Yeah, I know. Okay. Oh, you were talking about the new Hawaii Five-0. Okay. Yeah. I never watched it, but like I see him in the commercials. Yeah, like I know who Scott Conn is.
So it's like I said, this guy, but if you just saw The Alchemist or heard him talking, you're like, okay, he just whatever. But he's a producer and he does all this amazing work as a producer. And like you kind of catch his vibe. His vibe is kind of, as you listen to this album, it's kind of more lo-fi. It's got a kick to it in the background, but it's not real, jazzy, not high pace. The your beats per minute are kind of slow, and I find it fascinating that Freddie, I have heard him rap over faster tracks, can slide into this slower style of production and just kind of ride it and make what is like truly one of the best hip hop albums this year. And I'm not the only one saying that. Lots of people who review music are like, yeah, this is something special in this regard. The song that Box is talking about, the first song that he enjoyed, or at least
like 1995 or something.
It's called 1995. And the original Alfredo opened up with a song called 1985. So it's like that's just them tying the themes together. There's a Skinny Sugar on that one, and there's Skinny Sugar 2 on this one. Surprise, that'll be your lyrics for the show this week. I am currently deeply in love with the song 1,000 Miles. It's the last song on this album. And I thought you'd like that. I said that. In fact, I had said that to you before I actually listened to this album. Because for whatever reason, it just speaks to me in a way that I'm just whatever. But the song right now that I'm just like, the two songs is Enchilada with Anderson .Paak and Skinny Sugar 2. And I'm just like, those songs, for whatever reason, are crazy. Lemon Pepper Steppers is the one you're talking about, him getting his dick sucked at church. So I know that's one of your fellatio joints.
I do remember those lyrics specifically. Maybe think of Euro Trip with Scotty Doesn't Know.
Oh my gosh. So I mean, like I said, there's your track listing. I'll go through it with you.
It's funny because like I was looking at like all the information of the songs when like some of them like I was doing something and like they just kind of played one after the other.
Yeah.
And then the one song I was like, man, this really feels like Anderson .Paak type of song. And I must have been the one where he was on it. Like I must have just heard him and then like without even realizing that it was him, thought like, man, he'd be good here.
Him with the Alchemist on production and Freddie on the raps is just like, yo, that's great. Enchilada goes extra hard. I would play you a little bit of it, but lately Spotify been on my ass about music in my podcast because I have, there's like 4 episodes of a podcast up on Spotify, and every couple of weeks they maybe go through and say, "Hey, can you have this music?" And I have to be like, "I can have this music because I'm discussing this music." And at some point they're gonna make you just take them down. So heads up, those episodes might just have to move over to Patreon because Spotify's like, you can't be having the music in it. So I would love to play you some of Enchilada right now, but I can't. And you probably should be listening. Well, in general, I'm telling you, you should be listening to this album. But the track listing for this is 1995, Mar-a-Lago, Lemon Pepper Steppers, Enchilada, Empanadas, Skinny Sugar 2, Feeling featuring Larry June, I Still Love Her, Shangri-La, Gas Station Sushi, Lavish Habits, Gold Feet featuring JID, your man Jed, who just dropped an album, and I'll listen to it and I'll talk to you about that when we get to the entertainment section of the show, Jean-Claude, and 1,000 Mountains.
So one more thing that I just thought of about, like, I was thinking of while I was listening to it, was there were a couple songs where it felt like direct samplings of older songs by other people. Like I don't know which ones they were, but like I imagine you probably know what I'm talking about. But like there was like lyrics that were like they felt like they were like verbatim copied, and like cadences that were kind of just like sampled.
So the lyrics I'm going to read you in a little bit here. Actually, if I go look at my tabs, I just recently closed it. Starts off with "I am a nightmare walking, psychopath talking," which is a direct bars from Ice-T from the song "Colors," and that's the thing in hip hop. You'll hear people, they're basically paying homage to other MCs or other musicians and lyricists, and so that's just you probably definitely know probably to it. You heard that a lot because that's one of the things. The Alchemist is a producer and Freddie is an MC. They kind of they do oftentimes Alfredo too. I'm trying to find you some actual samples I can talk Alfredo too. Is that really not up on Who Sampled yet? I don't find that fascinating because they're usually real good about getting that information, but I just put it in Alfredo. Let me see if Alfredo comes up. No, not as an artist and not as a song. All right, so Who Sampled is sucking for searching today, so I can't really give you any sample ideas. But yeah, that's the kind of thing. I actually saw a very pretty interesting, I think I would call it, TikTok yesterday that was going through basically pointing out some of the Alchemist samples. In fact, I wonder if I shared that. Let me turn my phone down. I'll go see if I can grab it for you. I can tell you some of the Alchemist more interesting sampling. I'm pretty sure I sent it to. If not, and I sent it to Chalfie. Don't see it on the end. Let's see if I sent it to C Diddy. Maybe I didn't, man. Did I not really send it right? Did I keep it for myself? Let me check my little saved. It's crazy. Anyway, well, yeah. Again, like I said, you certainly came across a sample or two, and that's like I said, that's kind of the fun part of listening. In fact, here I can bet you if I go through I'll take a peek at the liner notes. Let's see if I can see anything amongst them. Nah, they don't go that deep. They just say where stuff was recorded at and the like. Mount Cain and Shangri-La and the Alchemist. I love the. Anyway, I very much enjoy this album and all the stuff that came with it. It's very just kick-ass. Apparently, there's a version you could have ordered that came with a comic book, and I'm kind of salty I didn't get that. Of course, there's, Fred, and then there's Al. If you're wondering what the Alchemist kind of looks like.
I saw his Wikipedia page when I was looking up the Khan family.
Yeah. So, the reason I went with this version of the record, as opposed to, there are multiple versions of this record. And again, I showed this last week, but I didn't show it to Box because he wasn't here. It's the limoncello variant. And I very much appreciate how it looks.
Flavor.
So that's why I went with that particular color variant of this particular album. And I just like I said, it just has me, and I keep going back to it, and I'll be sitting there just like thinking it's playing in my head right now. Enchilada in particular, and Skinny Shook. Like I said, I'm definitely, like I said, I'm going to speak to some Skinny Shook lyrics here in a bit. I just I have a ton of Alchemist records on the shelf over there. If you were to go through my records over there, I can pull out at least probably 15 Alchemist produced bodies of work, and I actually got down with the Alchemist as a producer. Man, it had to be on Mobb Deep's third album, and he produced a song called "The Realist." And again, I would tell you, if I could make any suggestion to you that you would go listen to "The Realist" by Mobb Deep. It's Mobb Deep and Kool G Rap. But also, there's a song that the Alchemist did years ago for the rapper Razzcast called "Home Sweet Home." And what became a big stink about that is the Alchemist said he paid for that beat, and not the Alchemist, the Razzcast said he paid for that beat, and it was his beat, and no one else was supposed to use it. But then out of nowhere, the Styles P, the Locks, got that beat, and Jadakiss had a song called "We Gonna Make It," and it's the exact same beat. There's no differences. The Alchemist just the Razzcast was mad. It was like, you sold the beat a second time, but then the Alchemist was like, no, the label never paid me for that beat, or never finished paying him out for that beat. So that's why you end up getting that same track twice in a hip hop kind of way. But like I said, I've been listening to Alchemist for a very long time, so I'm appreciative of his lyrics. I got, like, if I thought about it, Pinata, Bandana, So My Soul, seven Freddie Gibbs albums on my shelf right now. He's a rapper whose work I really appreciate, and I've been watching people review this album and listening to people discuss it, and it's been interesting watching. I watched this. There's a couple of father-son duos I watch review review music in particular. It's a black family, there's a white family, and then I watched this couple from out of Canada, and she's Scottish, and he is. I don't want to say some sort of Asian because that feels racist, but he's some sort of Asian, because I can't pinpoint it, I just can't do anything. But they're really just Canadian because they live in Canada. And so these interesting pairings of individuals who review albums or just listen to albums and go through it and so forth and so on. And I find it fascinating that they that we all have kind of come to the same conclusion, like, yo, this is a really dope album with really insane production. And it's just for some reason speaking to all of us because, of course, that's the kind of music we listen to. And like I said, and the reason I invited, or forced, however you wish to word it, Box to listen to it, is because I was like, I think coerced is the turn of phrase. The reason I coerced Box to listen to it is I really, for whatever reason, since I heard of 1,000 Mountains, I was like, this, for whatever reason, I truly was like, I thought for some reason this album was going to speak to me. And we're not saying it hasn't, because it's just, it's like I said, it's not really the style of hip hop you bang with. And Box listens to a lot of hip hop. Trust me, I've been in the car with Box a lot. Box is not not a fan of hip hop. He listens to a great deal of hip hop, in fact. But it's just this particular style, I think, is not something you would normally get the flow with. But for whatever reason, I don't know. I'm not joking. I text you, if you can go, I text you back a while back, and I was like, I think you would fuck with this song, and it's off of this album. So it's like it's just been on my mind anyway. And then I was just like, let me make sure me and Box just rap about this album for a little bit, because I don't know. It's something fascinating about the way he produces on it. It's not like, if I listen to the car really loud, it's not really bass heavy or anything like that there. It's not really jumpy or jammy. It's not nothing like that going on there. It's just
this album felt soulful.
Yeah, in a weird way, right? Like you're like, it's weird to be called something soulful. Be like,
it was like a nasty soulful.
Yeah, kind of like a
gritty,
old school blues albums. You know what I'm saying? A little dirty, a little naughty. You know what I'm saying? Like, she sucked my dick in the church after church in these little couple steppers. It's crazy.
Saying dirty shit to me, but like, not in like an aggressive way, kind of like as a matter of fact kind of way.
That's exactly what it is. Freddie has a rap style that is very much so Freddie has beef with all these rappers, right? One rapper in particular is Benny the Butcher. And Benny the Butcher's boys, that's a lot of B's, up in Buffalo, that's another one, apparently jumped, beat up Freddie and stole his chain. And then later there's pictures of Benny holding up Freddie's chain, la. But the thing is this: even after getting jumped and beat up and having his chain stolen, Freddie did his show that night in Buffalo, and he just clowns, he just makes fun of him on his album, like not makes fun of him in like ha ha. He's more like, so you had a bunch of people jump me, you didn't do a damn thing, you didn't come and see me. In fact, you didn't try to fight me, and what, you think it's cool that you hold up my chain? And that's the kind of shit that Freddie, he's like directly talking to people. And not in any way that's like, I'm trying to keep something under or whatever like that. He's like, I'm going to say this to your face, and what the fuck are you gonna do about it? And I like that. It's weird to have such a strong rap style paired with such a groovy melody, melodious kind of vibey music. It's like, how do you make those two work? And they work brilliantly to my ear. And I just find that fascinating that you can have somebody rapping so damn hard, essentially, but over the smoothest little lo-fi kind of vibey, in this case, Japanese thing. The first Alfredo is like a mobster movie, if you would, of the Italian variety, and this is more of a Yakuza variety in its gangster state. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of try to lean it more Asian, and I dig it. I dig what they've managed to pull off, these hard ass raps over these lo-fi kind of styled beats. And fun samples, a little movie samples, and of course they made a short film to go with this. So some of the samples are directly from the little short film they made. So I think that's kind of cool. I am fascinated by it, and I want to share it with Box and discuss it with you, the listeners. And now we've done that. So I'm gonna rap you some of the very same lyrics off this album. This is the first verse and some change off Skinny Suge 2. And I need to pull my lyrics up so I can spit them to you. Thank you. Here we go. I am a nightmare walking, psychopath talking, the last fucking nail in this coffin, the flame on the crosses. Black ball headed Jesus, I hang on the cross. Industry crucified me, but I stay bouncing off it. Last dime, magic wand, she put it in my palm. Call the police back, bitch. Tell them it was a false alarm. Niggas want to kidnap your moms. I'm trying to keep it calm. Before I leave the house, I say all my duels and my salahs. I survive like Easter Sunday, rabbit on the rise. Cowards die 1,000 deaths, nigga. I got 1,000 lives. Burn these niggas 1,000 degrees. I crematorium. Squeeze the poison out the scorpion, Mandalorian. The Space King push space coops, the cappuccino colored suede roof, the 99 deuce, retail therapy. Front of the homie work, man, I might as well start a charity. Seen J Bull get shot in the eye, that gave me clarity. I put some money up because this rapper shit might never last. I want to go hang it up. I've seen too many rapper niggas pass. Niggas will hit you up, so every rap I spit could be my last. Really don't give a fuck, they want the clout. It ain't about the cash. Last dime, magic wand, she put it in my palm. Pussy bomb, shed them funds, my pimpin' Megatron. Big as ever, King Kong, Papa the Rolling Stone. Moving like Big Perk with the work, coking the carry-on. Get them gone, nigga. I know some niggas that'll do you if I do a song with them. Got my whole up in the spot. I'm about to send her home with him. Jewish lawyer beat the case. I had to say shalom with him. Hello, welcome to it. Stage Crunchy Milk. It's episode 582. And yeah, you watch out for that thyroid, okay? I am your host, Inner Terror 713, joined by your other host, the Reverend Lunchbox 2099. What's the good word, sir?
Bless you, my people.
I don't know if you got to do the cross because I don't think you're a Christian Reverend per se. You're more of a universal Reverend. So what could be your sign if you're not going to go with the cross? We got to whip something up.
Chad's hands.
Yes, that is it. That is the blessings from the Reverend Box. You get these right here. You've been blessed. Vibe this week. I didn't feel like doing any news stories because I don't fucking care, bro. The world's falling apart. It's a shitty place and it sucks. And you know it and I know it. So, on the news tip. We're just going to jump in the show, going to chat. Box did a couple of interesting things over the last couple of weeks, so I actually want to hear him discuss those things and tell me all about it. I didn't listen to the set because I actually want to hear you talk about it before I listen to it. And so I've held off on that. And, of course, I want to know all about AEW here locally and how that all went. So that all being said, let me open up my video tab and play my man's intro, which goes like this.
I hope it's like the Wonder Years where like you got me like playing in the front yard by a white picket fence, and then like me looking lovingly into like my crush's eyes as I kiss for the first time, and then all of a sudden I'm getting on a boat to war. And then,
I thought it would involve books in some way, story time, but damn.
Yeah, I mean, I guess reading Rainbow works too.
If anything, I've learned to give it a beat before I start talking because there's a brief pause betwixt. The box has told me where he can't hear me. So I've been trying to be cool and wait a second, wait a little bit. And that way I know everybody can hear us again. And once I heard Box, I figured he must be here to talk. So it's all good, Box. It's your show, sir. What up? What up?
So the things T wants to know about, AEW was a good show. Okay. I don't feel like I'm going to WWE stuff anymore, because since being acquired by TKO, they have really like business modeled the fuck out of it, and like now it's like the ticket prices are insane. Like I was already not like looking forward to going most of the time before, and now that the ticket prices are like jumping up, I really don't care about going. I have even been watching like Raw and SmackDown consistently at all. Like I've maybe watched Raw like twice in the last like 5 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like I tend to just see like highlights on YouTube or social media like Instagram or Facebook. I have not been making it a point to sit down and watch the weekly shows, which is funny because my one buddy, I guess, is like jumping on like a wrestling podcast now with some people, and he's like, "Oh yeah, if you ever need you to come on and talk," I'm like, you can. I'm like, but just so you know, like, I ain't even paying attention, all like that.
Like, baby, I'm out of shape in this particular round.
But no, like AEW, because they're like still like, in comparison terms, like a startup compared to WWE with their history. Their ticket, their shows don't sell out. Like they did in the beginning, but a lot of the luster kind of wore off for a lot of people, and rightfully so in some aspects. So the last couple shows that they've had here for Dynamite have not been sellouts. So like they usually end up with like BOGO ticket deals, or in this instance they had like 30% off after like they were on sale for a while. So like I started seeing ads maybe like 2 weeks before the show on Instagram for 30% off tickets. But we had tickets like from when they went on sale, because the people I went with last time, they bought me a ticket without even like asking me.
Oh.
So I mean, I paid for the ticket, but like they didn't ask me if I wanted to go. They just bought me a ticket.
Assuming you'd be down to go. So
yeah, but it was fine. My major takeaway from it is that I can fit in the seat at the arena now without like, spilling all out and being uncomfortable the whole time. So also learned that if you're going to go to the Wolstein Center, section 109 is nice because like the seats have a little bit of gap between them because it's the part of the arena where it starts to bend. Okay. So they don't have seats like touching each other. There's like a couple inch gap in between each seat.
Mm-hmm.
So you get like nice elbow room and shit. It's most comfortable I'd ever been in that building.
Right on.
The show itself was good, like solid matches from beginning to end. We kind of left like when they were doing Ring of Honor after the main show, because they record like a match like before Dynamite starts for Ring of Honor. Then they do Dynamite, which airs live on TV, and then after that they change out the ropes and everything again, and then they start recording more Ring of Honor shit. And I don't watch Ring of Honor.
I don't know what that is. So if you please.
Ring of Honor was a different wrestling company that existed for years.
Okay.
And then they went under a couple years ago, and the guy who owns AEW bought them.
Okay.
And he does shows for it, but they don't have a television network. The shows just air on like their app.
Okay.
So you have to pay for like their streaming app to watch Ring of Honor, which I do not do. So I don't care about Ring of Honor. Not to say that others shouldn't. I just don't watch it, so I have no personal attachment to it. And I'm also old at this point, so not watching. And plus, we were with someone who had a kid, and like they needed to get back. Like they had like an hour to travel back home, and like that was after taking me and my buddy back to my house. So it just made more sense to dip out at that point.
Is it the same talent in both organizations, or is it different?
I mean, they people bounce around from like it's technically supposed to be separate, but like they all work under the same company. Really, there's some people from Ring of Honor that sometimes show up on AEW and vice versa. There's no really rhyme or reason to it. Could you
be one thing in AEW, like the mask? Let's say the mask, whatever, over here, and then be something else in Ring of Honor.
I mean, technically, yeah. I mean, if you could pull it off, like. WWE kind of has something like that going right now, where they had a guy, Chad Gable. He was dressing up as a luchador, but like the identity of the luchador was a secret. And then he actually got hurt, and like he has to be out for a while. Like he had like a torn labrum or something, so he had to have shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
And there's this German guy that like he was like a mid card kind of talent at this point in his career. And he kind of wasn't being used for the last couple months. He's like he's taller than the other guy, Chad Gable. So like now that Gable's out and he can't play the luchador, they brought the German guy who like hasn't been on TV, and they put him in the luchador outfit.
Yeah. So
now the luchador guy is taller, and like they're still running with the "we don't know who this man is" thing. And so it's been pretty. That has been pretty good.
Okay, that's hilarious that they mentioned pull that off.
Yeah. But yeah, AEW was a good show.
Okay.
Like every segment on the main show, like I was into, like the matches were good. They had top tier talent wrestling on the show, so I wasn't like bored out of my fucking mind watching people I don't care about. So I definitely like thumbs up. The crowd was good energy. Like the arena had more fans in it this time than it did last time.
Okay.
I'd probably say about 10% more. Like
Okay.
they actually had people on the hard cam side. Like it wasn't completely full over there, but it wasn't like completely empty either. So that was nice to see. This is like I was super into AEW when it first started for a while, and then like it went through a rough patch where like even I couldn't look past the blemishes anymore, and I started like not making an effort. I used to watch it every week. Like I made a point to every Wednesday I watched it for like years, and then in the last like year and a half, I just stopped making an effort to like make sure I watch it on Wednesdays. Like I'm not even home now when it's on. But I do watch the clips on social media or on YouTube, and sometimes like I'll pull it up and watch it if I got nothing else going on and I'm bored. But that was a good show. Now the second thing T wants to know about was I went and saw the comedian Josh Johnson, who if you watched The Daily Show, you would have seen him host, which I do not watch The Daily Show because I don't have cable. But Josh Johnson is a comedian. I know he got big in Chicago, or that's where like he started coming up in Chicago. He has really blown up, I would say, in the last like 2 years.
Yeah. TikTok really kind of, not that he was already on the Daily Show, so it's not like he wasn't already famous, but his TikTok really kind of helped push him even further. I feel like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because like he really, especially on Instagram too, because he started posting long form videos, like clips from his stand up bits, where it's like 5, 6, 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And the thing about Josh is, I think he's a fantastic storyteller.
Yes.
Which is something that I really appreciate in comedians. Like anyone can make like crude humor and do spot jokes and stuff. Yeah, bits. But the ones that really get me are the people that can like talk about something and make me feel something or keep me engaged, keep me interested. And they have that ability to do that subtle callback. Yep. Where like they just talk about something and you think they're just talking about it. And then they manage to go down the road and eventually you make that connection of why they talked about that shit to begin with. It's like watching a movie and they bring up the plot point that's going to be something important later on in the movie, but they make it seem so inconspicuous and unimportant to begin with. And then when the true nature of it is revealed later, you're like, oh my God, that was masterful. Josh has that ability, and he's definitely gotten better with it. And I have to appreciate too, at the amount of what he's doing with how much he puts out, because he runs a YouTube channel that puts out like stuff from his routines like almost every week, and it's all new stuff. Yeah. So he's doing it at a rate that's like fucking insane for the quality that it is. Yeah. Now I will say that a lot of his comedy, the political stuff, you'll appreciate more if you're middle to left leaning. Yeah. Not that he goes out there necessarily bashes right side people, or the right side, but I could definitely see them getting their panties in a twist if they are a right sider and go to try and listen to Josh's stuff. Yeah. However, if you can be objective or want the left toot, then Josh definitely is someone that you would be appreciative of. I don't know how exactly long he was on for his set. He had like his friend was his feature in the middle, and then like they had the opener or host guy. All of them were good. The opener, the host / opener. He obviously he didn't get a ton of time, but he did some stuff that was pretty funny about like AI and robots and stuff. Like I could see he was like workshopping some stuff for future, and Josh's feature, I guess, was his friend, like from Chicago. He was pretty solid. He did a good Hulk Hogan, Joe Biden joke. That like ended his set or whatever. But yeah, he was pretty solid. And then Josh was on for a while, but like it didn't feel like a while, and that's what makes like shit like that good. But then like I guess like he felt like the set went over so well because it really did. Like people were engaged because it like there was a little bit of crowd participation that happened when he was like trying to come up with like he was trying to remember like a Tesla saying and he couldn't quite get it, and the crowd was helping him, and people were like, no one was like yelling shit at him. People were just clapping and enjoying the show and everything, and like it had good energy from the moment he came out to the moment he left. And like it's funny because he's at this point becoming very successful. I don't pocket watch. I have no idea like how much money this dude's been raking in lately because he's really just starting the ascension.
Yeah,
but he comes across as like really nice and thoughtful. My friends went to meet him after the show. I did not because I'm not usually someone who like cares about standing in a line to take a picture with someone against their will. But like they did. It was funny too. Is when I left them, I was like they were getting like the line was like they were at the top of the stairs and the line all the way down to where. Yeah, and I was like, no, thank you. It's already like. After 11:30, I don't care about doing this usually anyway. This is the longest line. I'm like, I'm out of here. You guys have fun. I'll see you later. I'm like, just Photoshop me into the photo.
There you go.
And then my one buddy actually did Photoshop me into one of the photos they took. But I saw the picture they took with Josh, and he seemed like so nice in the photo. But yeah, like his set, like he ended up posting the whole thing on YouTube like the next day or within 48 hours.
It really was like the next day.
It was the next day. I remember I said that like I went last night. Yeah, so it was the next day. Like he said that he felt like the set went over so well that him and his team fast tracked the YouTube video so they could get it out right away. Yeah. Which I could understand because of the subject matter was actually very topical to what was happening in DC. So if he really wanted to catch the algorithm wave, he needed to get it out as quick as possible. But the way he wove his childhood in with like a comparison of where society or like observationally feels like society is at right now was incredible. And he's turned me into a big fan very fast. Like I've been following him on Instagram for a while, and I really enjoy his pace. I really enjoy his subject matter.
Yeah.
I enjoy the complexity with which he tells the stories, but like they're still easy to follow. It's just like I really enjoy his work.
Yeah. And I'm not saying, look, like I said, the Cleveland set the box was at is available right now on this man's YouTube. I will, if I can recall, I will put it in the show notes. But one of my favorite bits of sets of his is him explaining the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef for white people, and that's what it's named, and it's on his YouTube. And he goes through, and like you just said, he's a storyteller. But he goes through and explains it, and he's like, okay, so if you don't know this part, because he's literally talking to like doing crowd work, you know what I'm saying? He's talking to like people like near the front row. That's what this means. And he's like explaining it to him and so forth and so on. But it's such a fascinating and fantastic way to do that. And also, it really is a clear explanation of the beef. If you didn't know what the beef was, you're like, if you really need somebody to just give you a quick little too long didn't read, you should watch Josh's set, Kendrick Lamar Drake beef explained to white people, because it's fantastic, and I dig that, man. I'm glad you got to go kick it at that show. I know you are. You love a good comedy show. Don't you have another comedy show coming up, or have you cleared them all for the month?
No, I got Louis C.K. next Friday.
Okay, yeah. I was saying there's another one coming down. I don't know if you know what Louis does these days. Everything is on his sites, right? He does all his stuff for his own his Patreon situation, right?
I think his last special, you had to like buy it off of his website or something.
Yeah. So
which I did not do, for the record.
It's like $5, really.
Yeah, I mean, I like going to see him, but like I'm not like some sort of crazy super fan buying everything the man puts out.
I just figured that'd be your cup of stew. That's why I saw,
Like if it were around, I'd watch it, but like I'm not gonna make an effort to go buy it.
Fair.
Or rent it or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like Jim Jeffries, I guess, has a new special out that dropped the other night. Like I gotta watch that.
Yeah.
I like watching Jim Jeffries, even though he can be a little gruff on social media at times. I've personally gotten into it with him on Twitter once.
I was gonna say, what he mad about?
Oh, it wasn't that he was mad in this instance, our interaction. It was he made a Cleveland joke, and I not so subtly reminded him that he currently had tickets on sale in our market and to watch what he says because we don't forget around here. and then he hit me with a, come on, buddy, don't be like that. And then I woke up the next morning to him deleting the tweet.
Business guy had to. Again, Nick G was just on the show last week. You don't have the episode yet. Don't worry, you'll get it sooner or later. The premiere crashed, and I was just like, all right, for right now, I need a moment away from this computer. But you'll have that show sooner or later. And I was just talking to Nick last week about how we don't play in this town. And right to this day, Joakim Noah is on site.
I've seen clips from podcasts that he's been on where they've talked to him about that.
And he know it too. He know it.
And he's like, it's crazy. He's like, that shit was like 14 years ago. They still talk about that shit. Like, fuck, we don't forget, man. Fucking Kelly Olnick on site. Like, man, do not like come around here.
God, that nigga cost me a whole fucking ring. A whole chip that's on that motherfucker being a bitch and twisting Kevin Love. Oh my God. On site.
Yeah, we don't forget around here, man.
It's real.
We'll badmouth the shit out of ourselves, but goddamn, if an outsider tries it, we will rally around each other and fucking fuck that person up. Like one of my favorite clips is from when the Cavs were in the finals against the Warriors, and Steve Harvey was on ESPN, and he to Stephen A's face told him that he needs to watch his fucking mouth when he's walking to his car in the parking lot. And Stephen A was like, are you telling me that the people of Cleveland will assault me? And he's just like, yeah.
Look, I'm not saying, but I'm saying. Like we can talk crazy, we don't really talk crazy. We kind of just hate bullshit and so on and so on. We can talk about our city because it's ours. You can't, and you know me like that.
Now, unless you got something good to say, and then we'll like, it's like we'll embrace you and give you nothing but love and praise if you got something good to say. But if you come in here talking reckless, we will knock you the fuck out verbally, sometimes physically. We don't take disrespect kindly.
You got to understand, you can get touched anywhere, especially in this town. I'm telling you, bro. Don't think you're safe anywhere. And I'm not trying to say it's dangerous, but it could be dangerous is all I'm saying. You're like, I'm going to go to this nice restaurant over here. This is the Marble Room. It's lovely. Somebody could be in that restaurant washing dishes, my guy, who knows somebody else. You can get touched anywhere in this city. I need you to know that. Just put some respect on it. You even got to be like sweet to us. Be cool. And we'll be cool. And if you show love, you're all the better.
Wow, you guys sell a lot of nice T-shirts here. Like, that's right, we do.
Yeah. I'll leave that shit at that. Don't get got just because you thought you had to say something smart. You know what I'm saying? And that's like I said, that's just it.
It's really wild how you guys close all your downtown restaurants at 6:30. You guys are really great at beating traffic. Like, yeah, we thought ahead, man.
Oh my God, this city.
That was the thing, man. When I went, our showing was 9:45.
Yeah,
I met my friends down there at 6:30, like East 4th, where the comedy club is at.
Yeah,
over half the restaurants on that street weren't even open.
That's insane to me.
Because like Michael Simon's barbecue restaurant was closed, like just straight up not open. Mabel's was closed. Cordelia closed. Butcher and Brewer closed. These places didn't even fucking attempt to open on a Monday night. Like, and it wasn't even like they closed like at like 9, they 6:30 at night, prime dinner hours. These places said, nah, son.
It's idiotic. It's like you're throwing money away at that point. And who knows? Restaurant margins are weird, and they may know something we don't know. Of course they do. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there was no Guardians game that night.
Yeah.
And so, like, the only thing happening down there would have been the comedy club.
Yeah.
And then the comedy club itself has its own restaurant inside, which probably sucks up a lot of the patronage that would have gone to those other places.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe they just feel like it's a cost-cutting measure to not open and pay for staff and lose out on, like, potential food spoilage and whatnot.
And so forth. Yeah. Man, I don't know, man. We gotta. We know downtown Cleveland has slowly become like the place people go to live now. People of a certain age are like living down there. Lots of apartments down there to be had and so forth and so on. So it's like you would hope maybe they would try to be present for the people who live down there. But I don't know, because and then kind of the places that have apartments in them, those apartment structures also have restaurants in them. Like what's that one? The Nine, right? Is that building called?
Yeah, the Nine has like a bar on the roof and shit.
Yeah, it has a
restaurant down below. The one lady when I was in the apartment that you were in for. All right, I'm trying to. How do I say this without like giving away too much shit? When I was working in the same area of the office that you and Anthony worked in.
Yeah.
There was the lady on my team that sat across the aisle from me.
Okay.
Black lady.
Okay.
So I recently had her on a Zoom because she's one of the people that got loaned out to my new department, my current department.
Yeah.
And so like a couple weeks back, they had her and another lady get into a Zoom call with me for the day so that they could kind of like shadow and ask me questions and stuff. And at one point we were just talking about like life. And she told me that like right around the beginning of COVID, she actually moved downtown. Yeah. And she lives in like an apartment above like the Marble Room or something.
Yep. Yeah. It's like tons of stuff. So you remember when they like put a whole skyscraper above the boba shop we used to go to?
Yeah.
And Potbelly? That if you were downtown Cleveland, that used to be a 3-story building, tops. And they've stuck an entire skyscraper on top of that, which is the wildest thing to see happen. Because it's like, does that seem smart? Is that what I want to know what goes into that architecture,
like engineering one?
Yeah, engineering wise, like wow, how do you figure out that like, oh yeah, this can stand that weight of an entire skyscraper being placed atop it? That's crazy to happen. But I believe there's apartments and businesses in that structure right there as well. And then right across the street from there is of course Steak and Shake, the Marble Room, and a bank. And then above that our space is like right there. So yeah, there's lots of places downtown you can live right now. What used to be
Shake
Hodges. Shake Shack. Did I say Shake Shack? What did I say?
You said Steak and Shake, and I was like, that is not Steak Shack.
Shake Shack is the correct one.
Yeah, Steak and Shake barely exists anymore.
What used to be Hodges, but is now, I believe, a New Orleans restaurant. You know, that one has had apartments above it for a while as well.
Oh, Hodges was gone?
Yeah. It became nothing, and now it's a New Orleans style restaurant.
The Hodges, the restaurant that used to employ dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Oh shit! We ate there a couple of times, right?
Yeah, he was a dishwasher there when all that shit popped off.
I didn't realize that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he left shortly thereafter for obvious reasons, but
for sure. Yeah. So, you think he still lives around here, or did he take his talents to like South Beach or elsewhere?
I remember reading a story at one point that like he had like traveled a little bit.
Yeah.
But last they wrote about it, he was still around here because I remember they did something a couple years back where like he met up with Amanda Berry or whatever, and they talked out some stuff.
Yeah.
Like it was like for an anniversary thing or something.
Yeah. Dude, I hope all those people man, that's this city, bro. What the fuck, man? I love this town. I promise you I do. But when you like just think back on the history of this place for like, let's go over the last 20 years. The last 20 years of Cleveland has been crazy.
I don't know if I send it to you guys, but I found a couple of videos on YouTube where they were video footage from like the 1930s. I saw one the other day that I put in my watch later list. It was like from the 1970s, but they managed to like digitally remaster the video footage from the 30s. Yeah. So you can literally for like 8 minutes, like see downtown Cleveland in like full color with sound and everything. And it's like at one point they were like over by like Steelyard area, over by like West 14th and Clark area, just showing like the steel mills and the houses over there. Then they drive over the Veterans Memorial Bridge into downtown Cleveland, like right in front of like where we used to work. Yeah. And then they're like going down like East 55th and driving around. And then they were over by like, I think it's the area where it was like the Big Q.
Quality
where
home.
Like, yeah, like, they were literally,
or whatever. What is
like it's like 55th. But like they were like out by like where people were like buying blankets off the streets and stuff. There's just like people looking into this camera and like wondering what the fuck's going on. And I'm talking to my dad last night about it, and I'm like, it's crazy that these people were just living their normal lives almost 100 years ago, not completely oblivious to what the fuck was going on with this camera around them. Yeah. Like they're just like poor because it's in the fucking Depression. Yeah. And like I don't want this to sound bad, but you know, it was poor black people. Yeah. Like they were photographed in this particular video in this particular part of the video. They were like, you know, buying like bedding that was like on the streets and blankets and stuff. Yeah. And it's like they're just being filmed trying to survive. And here I am almost 100 years later, just sitting on my couch watching them live their lives from almost 100 years ago. Yeah. In full fucking HD color. I'm just like, this is fucking insane.
Did they colorize it, or was that just some of the earlier color film?
They colorized. That's the thing. They digitally remastered the footage to have color and like full sound. So it's like I'm literally looking at Cleveland from like 1932, I think it was on the video, or maybe 1930. It was something like that. Yeah, yeah. And then like I'm watching like because they had the camera set up on like a truck bed or something. They had however they had it. They were driving, and I'm watching like all these fucking cars going down this road. None of them have side mirrors. There's no lane lines. I'm like, how the fuck are these people not just crashing into each other left and right? They're cut in and out of like, it was like watching Seinfeld and Kramer just painted over all the lanes on the freeway. They're all just like fucking swerving shit.
It's barely just out of horse and carriage at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? So if there was no this side of the street, it was just street.
But like my point is though, it's like it wasn't even like it was just a couple cars on there. It was like rush hour traffic, bumper to bumper, and they're not fucking hitting each other. And I'm like, how are you accomplishing this when you don't even have side mirrors on your car?
30s color downtown. Let's see if this one is the one. Yeah, remastered 60 frames per second with sound design added. And then there's one from the 70s from the same thing. NASS, is that the channel, you know?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely because I just saw the remember there's a church over there surrounded by in Tremont with where it goes dome. Yeah. So so this is video restoration done by NAS, and in this case, if I just click on his channel, first thing that pops up, Pennsylvania. There's North Carolina. There's New York, South Dakota, Tehran in the 40s. Cleveland in the 70s, Toronto in the 20s. I actually want to see that Toronto one. That's actually kind of interesting to me. So that's kind of fascinating. That's what this guy does. He must just be doing software for color, speed, all that stuff, AI stuff, AI post production, and basically how this works is they'll like basically how they remaster a bunch of stuff now is they'll feed it into basically really good graphics cards, and they'll do it a lot, and so then it can fill in the gaps and so forth and so on. Because that's an interesting use of AI where I'm not like sitting here like whatever, you know what I'm saying? Not angry at this man for making baby comedians because that shit's weird. Don't do that. And also, like I said, this is more of a historical bit. So
the first couple times I saw the baby comedian thing, I was like, oh, this is funny. And then it felt kind of like when people on Facebook like 10 years ago or whatever were overdoing it with the bit emoji shit. And I was just like, all right, this has gotten old real fast.
Yeah. To this day, never made a Bitmoji and is still offended by it. I remember Michelle used to be so whatever about it. It's like, you gotta make one. I'm like, I will not, and I do not. Fuck Bitmojis. It was whacked then, they remain whacked now. The fact people still had them shits all these years later, it's like me having, I guess I technically still have a me somewhere from my Wii days, but it's not even from my Wii days. It's from like the Wii U days because it crossed over from those systems. Because that's when Nintendo started developing their software a little better, so it could, follow paths and so forth. Anyway, things like that be happening in the city we call home. Anyway, you can live in downtown Cleveland apparently for actually a decent price. A lot of people seem to live downtown Cleveland, but the problem is what everybody seems to complain about is parking down there is awful, and that's because mostly people want to sell their parking for events, and instead of to the people who live in their buildings as a part of their rent. Because they know that they could sell you $90 parking depending on what the game is or the event, rather than let you just as part of your rent be taking up a space. So
yeah, when I parked down there on Monday because there was no Guardians game, I knew I didn't have to worry about like street parking. Yeah. So I went and parked behind the PNC building where Superman was filmed.
Nice.
Man, and just got right back into that downtown Cleveland culture. Didn't even make it to the end of the block before I got someone trying to hit me up for money. I got the, hey, man, God bless you. God bless you, too. Hey, man, you got any money I can have? I got nothing, man. Sorry.
Sorry, I do not carry cash.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess I'm glad they're still out there and well, you know what I'm saying, after a pandemic and so forth and all these other things.
Oh, yeah. I got asked twice within 5 minutes. I was like, man, this is why I hate coming down here sometimes. Y'all people don't leave me alone.
So
I look too approachable.
That's the problem, and that's been the issue for years. I don't know what it is about our aura that we carry about us that says this person might slip me a couple of dollars or feed me, and then I'm going to take advantage of him feed me. I'll never be over that. I fed a dude
the Potbelly guy.
I fed a dude at Potbelly.
I literally was thinking about that the other day when I walked past the Potbelly, and it's like, oh man, could I get a malt too?
And I fed this motherfucker. I let it go. I was like, you know what, sir? Yeah, here, let me just feed you. It can never be said that I didn't do my part. But he was definitely taking advantage of your boy. Coerce me. Oh, my God. Like I said, again, I really don't have nothing I can tell y'all about. Ain't really nothing been popping this week. I have been highly focused on Donkey Kong Bonanza on the Switch 2. It's so good. And I'm not going to lie to you when I tell you, I definitely spent like a good 8 hours on that game Saturday. And not really. So when I say 8 hours, I'm saying 8 hours happened. And in that 8 hours, it was mostly me playing that game. But most of the time, I'll pause that game and I'll go on TikTok and I'll watch some videos. I'll go take Vanessa a beverage or something like that there. You know what I'm saying? Talk to the kid for a little bit. But in 8 hours is me having them sticks near grip. I killed the battery on the controller for the first time in years because Nintendo batteries on their controllers last forever. But it was definitely, I didn't kill it. It just basically gave me hey, low battery. And I was like, oh, no problem. I got a plug right here for you, big baby. But I definitely played that motherfucker long enough to hit low batteries. And I was like, that's crazy. But that game's so good. And I got a big surprise in it yesterday that I was very much like, I lightweight was expecting because somebody had spoiled something for me on the internet because the internet be spoiling. But also I was still like, oh, what? So now I can't wait to see where this takes me because it's taking me places. And you wouldn't think a Donkey Kong game could take you places, but it's taking me places, man. And I'm excited about where it goes. And so we'll see where that whole situation wraps up. But that's where I've been on that shit, man. But like I said, ain't really been nothing really popping in my life, man. I'm prepping for my child to leave my home, which is going to be a wild one. But I'll talk to you about that next week. Worry not, because that's when it's going to happen, and then I can be sad on the show and be like, I'm a damn empty nester. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that then. Ooh, excuse me. That was a gross burp. My apologies. Yeah, I ain't got, like I said, I got nothing for you, baby. I'm sorry. But if nothing else, that means that we can go like we do every week. So we can jump on over to Reddit, head down to the mean streets of Reddit and delve deeper into the subreddit, Am I the Asshole, and sometimes the great value version, AITAH, which I think I have a couple from actually this week. And when we do that, we do this. Over here tabbing through this these various videos. Let me pause this one. This is the Cleveland one that Box was telling us about. And that's crazy. One, because like I said, I know that neighborhood that this video starts in. It's just Tremont over, which is over by my barber's over that way. And in general, if you go, depending on how you drive, if you come from downtown and go and take it down the back way of you can get into Tremont going toward the steel yard coming this way. So it's funny to see this city like that. Fascinating. All right. Let's delve into some Am I the Asshole. This one is from AITAH. This one is an actual Am I the Asshole, and this one is also from AITAH. So twice now, people, I've had to hit up the old great value Am I the Asshole. But as it turns out, if my studies are correct, great value seems to be being more tasty than store brand. If I believe these TikToks I've been watching. So, because as it turns out, a lot of these big brands have been changing their formulas and their ingredients, and that has been leading to less tasty product. So here's your options box. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend first come, first serve? Am I the asshole for living with my boyfriend rent free? Am I the asshole for refusing to comply by my ex-wife's husband's rules about what my kids can eat so they can go to their mom's house?
That last one just kind of pissed me off.
Yeah, it's same. I was just like, get the fuck out of here, bro. You can't be just running my I don't know. It bothered me. And we're going to start with that one because I'm bothered by it. Am I the asshole for refusing to comply by my ex-wife's husband's rules about what my kids can eat so they can go to their mom's house? Does that all make sense?
Oh, yeah. I followed the train when you first said it. I was just like, bitch.
It immediately got your hackles up. And I feel that. So, all right. Undo my belt, pull my drawers up. Let's go. My ex-wife and I, both in our 30s, divorced 7 years ago. We had 2 boys together, age 8 and 9. My ex-wife remarried 2 years ago, and her husband brought his daughter and son into the marriage. About 5 months after they got married, my ex's husband, sorry, that ex is doing a lot, husband sent me a list of foods I could not feed my kids because his daughter is allergic. And whenever my boys are at their house, his daughter struggles with her allergies. He said he heard it from the kids' mouths that they eat those things when they're with me. He said anyone coming into their home needs to avoid those foods and that I must cut them from our kids' diets when they're at my house, which was every other week at this time. These include peanut butter, eggs, cheese, strawberries, chocolate. At first, I thought it was a joke. But then I got an email from this man the next time my kids went to their mom's house, berating me for not complying with his orders. Then my ex-wife tried to sue me for custody or for it to be placed in the court-ordered custody agreement that our boys could not eat those things. She lost the case on both counts. The judge told them they could not decide on what I feed my kids. So, for the past year, my ex has not taken her parenting time with our kids. Her husband is not okay with them being there if they've eaten those things at my house. He said his daughter could die And even if it's not that bad, she should not be made uncomfortable because a grown man child with a petty grudge would not comply with keeping a child safe out of spite for the new father in his kids' lives. My ex blames me for her not being a mom to our kids. She told me all I needed to do was follow the list, that everyone has to, and that she's already had some family members refuse. That means everyone does it now, do they? Our boys miss their mom, but not their mom's house. I've tried to plan for them to see each other, but she won't lead or drive here. She doesn't want to see them if they're not in her house for her custody time. They're not welcome while they eat those foods. And I'm not depriving them of the stuff because this man ordered them. I have my boys in custody because of this madness. My ex didn't handle that all too well, and she told me that I'm being a dick and alienating the kids from her. She told me to follow the rules and let the boys have both of us. I just want to see what others outside of the equation will think. I have support from others, but these are people who know me. Am I the asshole? Having heard the whole thing.
So this is a complicated situation to some degree.
For sure.
So I understand I'm going to call him stepdad.
Yeah.
I understand wanting to protect his daughter. Now, granted, the list of allergens seems a little scattered to me, but I'm I don't know.
The ones that I think could be straight up deadly are
like
peanut butter and eggs. They just people who are allergic to those two things seem to be allergic at levels that it's like it's going to send their body into shock.
I didn't know people could be allergic to eggs.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then like I said, and then so you think about it, then all of a sudden you start going through things that have eggs in it, and it's a lot. And so it becomes like, hey, I'm really, really allergic to these motherfuckers. Watch what you're doing back there, okay? And then of course, everybody cooks eggs on the various surfaces and so forth. And it becomes
I guess like my question here then is like them just consuming these things, what makes them like, we'll call it like radioactive of sorts to like people with allergies, like
not even. He's worried. That's simply what it is.
I mean, like, I get being worried, but like if they go to their dad's house who lives not in your house and eats a peanut butter sandwich and then 3 days later comes back home, like unless like their shit has like peanut butter residue in it and they don't wash the toilet or something.
Yeah.
I don't understand what the problem is with them eating peanut butter at their dad's house and then not doing it at your house. Like I don't understand how like them eating it there puts your daughter in harm.
It doesn't. I'm saying it doesn't. It can't unless they're coming over there with grubby peanut butter hands. But even if that's the case, even if that were the case, it'd be like, hey, you know the deal. When you come over here, go wash up real good, brush your teeth, so forth and so on. Just come in and get cleaned up, take your shoes off.
Yeah, just to a degree, this almost feels like he's like, well, if my daughter can't have peanut butter, no one can have peanut butter.
Lightweight, but I know. I like I said, I'm trying to look at it from a father's perspective, and I think he worries. He's just a worrisome kind of dude. It worries him, and he's saying, "Come on, man, don't be over here." And he don't know what's going on way over here, but he know these kids are coming to his house. But also, your kid goes to school, I'm certain, and trust me, there's children all around who eating cheese, peanut butter, eggs, and all that good shit there. The school kitchen might be making some shit that has those items in it, and you let your kid go to school, right? Unless, of course, it turns out he's homeschooling. Life is going to have to is going to come toward this child. Peanut butter, chocolate, eggs, strawberries exist in the world, and so trying to hide her from all of this does her a disservice. It does your wife's relationship with her children a disservice. And you think it's beef when it's not. You're just worried. And I get your worries because, parents, we worry. But Chill, B.
If it was determined that it was an actual safety hazard for the daughter, then
sure.
like I would be more on board with like coming up with like some sort of compromise here.
Yeah.
But it seems like this dude's just trying to like order their dad, the ex-husband around.
Yeah.
And he's throwing a temper tantrum because the guy won't relent.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. And I probably would ride out with that. But also, here's the deal. This man has also been like, hey, come see your kids. Let's meet somewhere so you can see the boys. And she like, no, I don't want to see them if I can't see them at my house. And I think that's very fucked up on her part.
Yeah.
It's like, go see your kids. No, because if they gonna eat peanut butter, then fuck them. Because that's what it seems like she's doing at that point. Which is crazy to me. And I get it. Like I said, he is a worried father. She is being a mean mother.
She's being a supportive wife and a bad mother.
Yes. Yeah. So let's dig into the comments here. Here's a glow in the dark one up the top here. Is the daughter licking your sons? Does the dad think they sweat allergens? I don't see how there can be any cross-contamination unless your kid goes over there with cheeks full of contraband like chipmunks. How do they handle her going to school? Please report to the courts that the mom isn't taking her time so you can get full custody and child support. Not the asshole. Make sure they don't take allergens over is one thing. Making sure they don't take allergens over is one thing. Trying to control what your sons can eat when they're not there is insane. Some response to that, yeah, this is weird. Unless your boys are super messy and then they eat and are covered in cheese and chocolate, and just being in the same house should not be an issue. Make sure they bathe and change clothes when coming to their mom's house, and the girl should be fine. This smacks like some stupid power play that backfired, or maybe it worked as intended by keeping the boys away from stepdad and his kids. I hadn't even considered that might be a power play that backfired. Holy smokes, that's crazy. Try to scroll through if I see anything. Let's click the guy's name and see if he commented at all on this post that he put in here. Comments. Diet. He has commented a lot, y'all. I'm trying to find one that really speaks to the issue overall. They got care because he interrogates my kids about what they've eaten. I have offered. She refuses. She refused to meet the kids anywhere unless they're back at her home, which actually I just discussed with y'all. I have offered my ex-wife the chance to have a relationship with our kids, and she refuses. She has turned down every time I offer to meet her with our kids, while her husband will accept nothing short of 100% cutting these foods from their diet. Not a day or two before, forever. He does the same with everyone. My kids don't want to stop eating these foods. Okay, so this man just wants this. Anybody in his life can't be eating these foods. Again, I don't know how his kid must not go to school because, like I said, there's no way you can make this. I guess schools are maybe schools are a little more giving than I'm giving them credit for, and are just like, all right, hey, people, if you're in class with Susie, none of this shit. But no, because no, you can't. Again, these are you can't bring that to school. Sure, because you're not supposed to be bringing peanut butter to schools. You can't bring your own planes and shit, because people might go on anaphylaxis. But I don't know, man. That's wild to me, and it's real fucked up. And no, I don't think this guy's an asshole. I think his ex-wife is being an asshole. And I think the husband is not necessarily an asshole. It's asshole-ish. But again, I know that's just a man worried about his kids' health and well-being. And the result of that is his wife being an asshole while trying to be supportive. Trying to be supportive of him is making her an asshole to her kids, like Box said. Is making her a bad mom, trying to be a good wife. Am I the asshole for living with my boyfriend for free? Just that.
I'm going to say no, but I'm just going to lean no.
Okay, Reddit says this person's an asshole. So let's read it and see and find out why. My boyfriend's 23-year male, 23 years old, I guess. Male, and I, 23 female, started living together 4 months ago. We've been dating for about 2 years and decided with my lease ending and him buying a house, we should move in together. He bought the house that used to be an oil company, so it needs to be completely renovated. And I mean completely. We currently are living in a camper on the front lawn of the house until it's finished. With that being said, we talked about how we would do bills. I simply said I would go 50-50 with him on utilities, but I refused to help pay the mortgage as this is his house and a commitment he was ready for. He makes pretty good money as he's a lineman. For me, on the other hand, I make less than half of what he does, and I'm also in nursing school. The other day we had a conversation about bills because he said the mortgage with renovations is beginning to get a little expensive, and he wants help with paying for those things. I simply denied and said that he was ready to buy a home and renovate it. I was not. Therefore, I'm not able to help much anyways, because the checks I get pretty much already go to bills for us, and I buy all the groceries. He got a little defensive and said that this is our home and I should help pay. I honestly do not think I should. So am I the asshole for sticking with our original plan and not paying for renovation / a mortgage? ?
I mean, if they're together and they're building a home, and I feel like, adjustments need to be made, and if he needs help, then yeah, you should help.
Of course you're an asshole. You're not paying rent. You paying for utilities and food, and you thinking that's enough. It's not. And you got to put in on this. I'm not saying this really makes you an asshole. Asshole is far. I feel like sometimes asshole is just stronger than it needs to be. But you ain't cool right now, baby. You're the asshole. You should be paying 50% of the mortgage from which you gain no equity. No. Should you be paying 50% of the mortgage from which you gain no equity? No. Should you pay him whatever you otherwise be paying in rent to the house itself if you didn't have his camper van to lean on? Yes. Be reasonable. Would you be okay if he moved under your roof and refused to help with rent because you'd be paying it without me anyway? And you know this person would. I would say that half of the rent she would usually pay sounds reasonable. That would reflect the situation if they moved together to an apartment to rent it. There you go. That makes sense to me. That's not the alternative. He has a house. She lives there with him, or she lives in an apartment on her own. Either way, no free lunch. The reason she shouldn't pay half the house note is because she'd be overpaying what it actually costs to house herself. Assuming, as I think we can safely can, mortgage for a home versus market rate rent for an apartment to a house to house a single person, without the countervailing benefit of equity in the investment. So the most reasonable fix is to take the incomes, calculate what each makes on total percentage, and divide all bills on that ratio. Okay. Reddit being sensible. Again, you have to say asshole because that's just what this is. There's no lower grade asshole to be had. But assholes, like I said, a bit strong if you were to ask me on this one. It ain't cool that you're not paying rent. You got to be helping out on. I mean, I get it. I'm not getting any equity. But bitch, you ain't be just living here for free either. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. I'm trying to see if she actually responded. She answered. She commented on other things. But I'm trying to see if she commented on this post. Oh, here we go. Update on this since I've had quite a few questions. One, I'm not technically living rent free. I still pay for half the utilities, and I do pay for all the groceries. If you've been to the store recently, it can get pretty pricey, and we eat at home mostly. Two, our original agreement was to go 50-50 on bills since we are in the camper, and it's not too expensive since the house does not have utilities yet. Okay, that's a fact I didn't include there, but again, I think you should be paying some rent because you still got a roof over your head. The price I'm paying now is a lot cheaper than living on my own in the apartment I was at. Also, to mention, this was our plan, so I can go to nursing school and focus on that. Number 4, I do not have a say in the renovations, and nor do I want to. Once again, I still believe this is his house, and he should have the freedom to do what he wants with it, with his dime. What I've gathered from all of this is to have a conversation when we move into the home. I'm willing to make changes, and especially if I'm further along in school or a nurse and have more income. But as of now, no. These two should break up. they are not if you want to get biblical with it, equally yoked, but also she doesn't even see why this is a problem. And in her mind, utilities and food is plenty. Sure, I guess that could be plenty, but you probably should be paying for the place you live and not just to keep the lights on. You know what I'm saying? And this point, it's probably literally just lights and water, right? Yeah, because that's about it. I guess, in Netflix and all that good shit. And she just seems to have a mindset that says that she don't seem to fuck with this dude like that. Like, he can design the house how he wants to. It's his house, and blah blah blah. That's a weird way of looking at things, Like, it feels like we're not. That feels like you two as a couple aren't going anywhere at that point,
Yeah, I feel like it'd be weird to just you're looking forward to moving into somebody else's house and not having it be your home, right? Like I get if you're renting somewhere or whatever, and then yeah, it's not your forever home, and it belongs to somebody else.
Yeah.
But if this is gonna be your actual home, ownership, I feel like you'd want some sort of say in it or something, but it really just does feel like she almost treating herself like a side chick.
Yeah, I buy the groceries. I keep my man fed. You know what I'm saying? It do feel that kind of way. It's like, it's like she's doing lesser by herself and him in this regard by doing this. It's weird to me that this is the way she paces out. I don't know. I don't think, like I said, this doesn't feel like a relationship this long for the world anyway. I feel like at some point something gonna happen that y'all ain't gonna be too cool with each other no more. And so I'm not saying I'm not even saying pay half of the fucking mortgage. No, I'm not. I'm saying put in toward the rent. That's it. And it's weird that she has refused to do that. So gotta keep a motherfucking moving, lady. Last one. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend first come, first serve? So my 27 male girlfriend, 26 female, was bugging me yesterday about not being a virgin like her. The type of behavior was a normal. That's behavior spelled with a U. So I'm going to assume this takes place in a foreign land, Canada or far off England. Was normal from her as she teases me time to time, but mostly harmless. She grew up in a strict. I want you to know this person spelled strict, STRIC. So letter missing there, buddy. And strict Christian household. So she, of course, wanted to do it after marriage. Whilst I was raised under a Christian household, but not as strict, again, he spelled it with just a C. My man is missing the whole T here. As hers, had some freedom of what religion I wanted to believe in. But this has nothing to do with religion, so I won't continue about it. So what I was saying is we've been dating for about 1.5 years now, and we've only had great times. Sure, a couple of fights here and there, but what couple doesn't? Right about our first dates, I was right about our first dates. Okay, so early in their courtship here, I was upfront about me not being a virgin and what other beliefs people share around their first dates and other boring stuff. So cutting to yesterday, we were home alone. I was in the living room, binge watching random shows on Netflix when she came out of our room, stood in the kitchen making dinner. She left the pot on for the food to cook and sat next to me on the couch. Regular day, the both of us. And then started teasing me about not being clean like her. I was like, whatever, and joked to her and said, first come, first served. It's weird on a couple of levels, but okay. She stared at me and then went to our room. That was 8 p.m. Right now it's 2 a.m. with the room's door still locked. Did I mess up? No. she's being weird. That's weird. Who comes over and says, you're not clean like me? That's weird, right?
Yeah. Like, I'll tell you this. Like, was it yesterday? A buddy of mine, I think it was Facebook dating or something. He matched with some woman, and she said to him something to the effect of, like, this is crazy. I've gone through an entire life era, and you're still on here. LOL, what's going on? Or something like that. It was like, I'd have to I really have to pull it up to...
Yeah, I definitely she clowning my man for being on a date nap that she on?
Yeah, it was... We talk so much in this fucking Discord, though. It's going to take me a minute to scroll back to find the shit.
While he's scrolling, let's go through some of the comments. Because, this ended with, did I mess up? And somebody responded, was like, strictly speaking, no. And then the next person, that's it, to a T, or lack thereof. And then somebody just put a laughing emoji. Let me go through.
There, I found it.
Okay, go ahead.
So it says, and keep in mind, she's typing this out in like shorthand and broken English. So you, just the letter U, gotta be kidding me. I went through the whole phase of my life by now. See, and you, just the letter U again, are still on dating website. How is life, comma, then another message, question mark.
Which is, like I said, hilarious, sort of, but also, bitch, you on the same site.
Yeah.
You two are on this site. What's happening is she got a man, broke up with that man, and is now returned. I was like,
I guess part of the problem is her grammar is so piss poor that like her thought isn't coming out completely clear, and she's leaving out proper context.
Yeah,
and she's trying to sound like chatty, but it comes across kind of like a bitch.
Yes, I'd call her the asshole where we were at, where this presented to the class. It's unnecessarily, unnecessarily shitty. And I get it. Which I like you said, she's trying to probably just make a little like, oh my God, you're still here? That's crazy, or that's silly. Well, here I am now again too. What's up? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, she made it sound like, man, I had a whole marriage and I lived another life, and I come back and your lonely ass is still here. What the fuck? That's the way it comes across, and it's just like, bitch, you're in the same spot. And like that kind of craziness, this like, am I the asshole story kind of reminded me of that.
Joe, lonely ass.
Let's crazy.
Let's further delve into the remarks here. So many religious women have talked about how it really messes with their minds to be a virgin and then get married, have sex for the first time, and suddenly be dealing with the ideal of no longer being clean. Even though they're married and allowed to have sex in the eyes of God, it's just an awful situation all around. It's just bad for people psychologically. That's why STI/STD discourse are trying to get people to switch from clean/dirty to negative positive, because the concept of being dirty is harmful to us. I'm not religious either, and while I understand that religion is important culturally and spiritually, I think there are so many people who exploit religion to pass around the ideal like dirty/clean thing in order to keep people in line. If you sin at all, you're going to hell, and let's add all kinds of sins, premarital sex, LGBTQ plus people, not being religious, etc., as a way to control people or sow discord/fear. Love thy neighbor and do unto others are goated concepts. Coded concepts. Well done, sir. But a lot of the rest should be done away with. So, oddly enough, I recently watched the Ear Biscuits episode. Ear Biscuits is the podcast hosted by Rhett and Link of Good Mythical Morning. If you don't know what is on that, they do a podcast, and that is a little more focused onto their lives. You know what I'm saying? Good Mythical Morning is more of like a little talk show, play some games and so forth and so on. But the podcast is a little more in depth. And they had their wives on to discuss with what it was like to all four of them be virgins when they got married, because their church was super into purity culture at the time. And of course, Rhett and Link are like, man, sex is great. It was a good time. And I was so hyped to be there. But they had their wives on the podcast, and they were like, yeah, that it was not great because one way they looked at it is like, oh, was that it? Is this what we've been waiting all this time for? And then in another way of looking at it, they were like, well, I don't know my body. You know what I'm saying? I have not been, because they've been so faithful to God and so forth. Faithful. They weren't masturbating at all. The women, the wives, the guys basically was like, man, yeah, of course I was jacking off, baby. You know how he gets down. But the wives, of course, hadn't been. So they don't have an idea of how their body works. So, of course, when they first start going at it, they're like, all right, what feels good here? What's right here? What's wrong here? What do I like? What do I dislike? And so forth. And so they're utterly unprepared for a sex life. Now, time goes on, life goes on. Of course, both couples, all four of them, seem to think they have healthy relationships and healthy sex lives. But they said it really kind of, was not the best early on because they didn't know any better. It was like it's figuring out how your body clicks and what makes you get off and so forth, how to get your partner off and so forth. And I found that fascinating because, like I said, Rhett and Link and their wives have all gone through what they call deconstruction. They've left the idea of the church behind. They're still kind of spiritual in their own ways. I don't think none of them are like, I'm an atheist now. I think they're more like just, I don't know, not quite. They definitely didn't get down with church no more. Basically how it moves. But they, like I said, were born into that and they were raised by it. And this lady seems like she was kind of in a similar structure and so forth and so on. And so, of course, she's been led to believe that it's a dirty, clean paradigm as opposed to, no, you just hadn't fucked yet, and I have. And it doesn't sound like her man was out there getting around, you know what I'm saying? He might have done it once or twice. And he seems okay with them not having sex currently. You know what I'm saying? They seem to have a good relationship and so forth and so on. But she want to be all worked up that my man was like first come, first serve, which is actually pretty hilarious when in reality you came over and approached him and called him dirty. No, this guy's not the asshole. That's a pretty funny joke. But you gotta, what you're dealing with in your girl and how she has been raised and how she's coming up. So you kind of gotta, have maybe a gentler hand or approach with her situation. So that's basically how that flows from me. It's why I would think, no, his person's not an asshole. And I don't think she's an asshole in this situation. I just think she got some living to do, some growing to do, and maybe some deconstructing to do herself from her religious upbringing because shit's whack. Here's another comment down here that he responded to. So, I don't get why she would joke like that. Does she want you to make her unclean, dropping hints about having sex or proposing marriage? I'm not a dude, so I would have lost my shit if my boyfriend said I was unclean. Go tell her you were joking and that she should stop with the jokes if she doesn't want to joke about it. That's okay, I get that. That should be the end of it. The thing is, she's being passive aggressive and you're actually just joking. And then the OP responds, I don't know, dude. But she also says she wants at least 2 years dating minimum of dating before she'll think of marriage to do, if you think about, sex. Okay, we're picking up, putting down. She wants to be at least, she didn't want to talk about marriage yet for at least a couple of years of dating. And sex comes with marriage. So at least 2 years of what this woman is thinking is about to be. And 2 years of her making you dirty jokes, sir, that's just not going to fly. That's unhealthy. Yet she's okay living in sin by moving in with her boyfriend is what this person says. I'm like, I don't know if they said they lived together. Did they say they? Oh, no, I guess he did say she went to her room. So yeah. Huh. That's weird. She's a Christian that believes sex reserved for the marital bed, so she's waiting till marriage. Okay, but then allude to you two living together. That doesn't track. What am I missing? Yeah, that is weird. Y'all living together but not fucking? I'm gonna be straight with you, Chief. I'm 25. And if some 26-year-old girl says she was a virgin, I'd almost take it as a red flag. Most people within religion get married like 18/20 so they can have sex, which usually doesn't work, and they get divorced. How would I know I'd have any kind of fulfilling sex life with someone when they're not even open to it? I get plenty of people think it's important or something, but at 26 and 27, I think this conversation is insane. You're both too old for this. Again, like I said, the joke is a joke. She came over with her version of a joke. You had your version of a joke, and she didn't like the joke. And that's why, like I said, I don't think he's an asshole, because I think my man just cracked this joke that was pretty fucking decent, if you ask me. First come, first serve. Pretty hilarious as a gag, as a response to "you're unclean, bitch. What is you doing?" Yeah, and y'all live together. What a weird. I don't understand how that's even possible. Then it can't be. Yeah, I don't know. Is this person an asshole then? No. Fucking weirdos. Stop it. Get some help. Those were your week's Ever the Assholes. Hope you got down with them. There in your show notes if you want to read through them and comment on these posts. If you haven't read it, I highly suggest you go and do just that. And like I said, if you ever got one you think you want Dan and I's wizened years of answering Emma the Asshole experience, holler at us. We'll definitely do that for you, because I think it's pretty fucking hilarious. Box, what you been on as far as reading, watching, playing, so forth, so on?
Read nothing. I've sparingly played Call of Duty the last couple weeks. I've been busy.
Okay. You check out the Battlefield beta.
I've watched maybe 20 minutes of it.
Okay.
Never played it before. Not sure if I'm interested or not, but I'm not interested enough right now to seek out people playing it. I'll say that much.
Fair.
I've been watching Haven.
Yeah, you told me about that. That's a old sci-fi show, I believe.
Yeah, I think I've got like 8 episodes left or something.
Yeah, is this the one you think you figured out the beat on?
I thought I did, and then a lot of shit switched it up, and like I still feel like I know how like the one character is gonna die, or at least who's gonna kill him.
Okay.
But the way that I thought it would all go down, I don't think is the way it's gonna go down anymore. So I'm glad that I kept watching it. So like I said, I think I've got about 8 episodes left. So I don't know if I doubt I'll finish it tomorrow, unless like I wake up and start work and immediately put it on and just watch it all day while I'm working. Okay. So more than likely I'll probably end up finishing it on like Monday. But that's mostly what I've been watching outside of like YouTube. I watched like the Browns preseason game the other day. I've been to the movies a couple times. Like I saw the new Naked Gun movie the other day.
Thoughts?
If you enjoy the originals, then you'll like this one.
Good. Apparently, one of the guys from The Lonely Island directed this, so I kind of think that's an interesting thing. I kind of want to. It makes me more like, I kind of wouldn't mind seeing what this guy's doing. I love Lonely Island and their brand of comedy. So, yeah,
I've got people who've like talked about how good the movie Weapons is, so like I'm probably gonna try and make an effort to go see that at some point here soon. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember. I think the last time we talked, I had seen Superman. Have
you seen Fantastic Four?
I did. So yeah, I saw Fantastic Four. It was fine. Like, not bad. Not like otherworldly. It was just solid.
Fair. What bothered me about Fantastic Four, and bother is far too strong. I was hoping we'd get them. They show us how you stitch them into our current MCU, and they didn't. Now you kind of do get that at the end of Thunderbolts, but you see it happening. You just don't know the how. And I figured we get the how in this movie, and we didn't. And that's where I'm left like, come on, man, how'd they get here? And I don't know if you want to force that into Doom, next year, but I guess that's what's going to happen. So I got to suck it up. That's what's going down. So fine, I guess that's how it goes. But that's the only thing. That's the only issue I have with that movie. Otherwise, I really really enjoyed Fantastic Four. Looked good, sounded good. It was a very good experience. Did you see it at Great Northern?
Yeah, that's my go-to spot now.
Same. And like I said, I love watching stuff in the Atmos hot seat. Even though one hot seems way hotter than three hot on them seats, I don't understand how the seat's supposed to work. And then
it always seems to shut off like really quickly. But I have figured out my preferred spot to sit. Seats 6 or 7 in row C. That is my spot.
C. Actually have the theater in my favorites because we go to the movies enough at this point. So here I'm going to open that up, and I want to look at C. Let me just grab a movie. And in fact, here I'll just grab Weapons tomorrow with 5:55 confirm, and one grown-up ticket. And let's pick I want to see where C is at. C, you like C?
Yes, and I like to tell you why.
Please.
I do not like the height at which the chairs sit in the rows behind it, like from feet on up. My feet dangle off the ground, and so it's uncomfortable on my ass. So I feel like in row C, because the chairs are lower to the ground, I can recline back further, and I'm more immersed in the screen, and I'm more comfortable physically.
All right. So Ness and I always sit in 7, 8, 9, 6. It's always 7 and 8. Is really what it comes down to, because it's basically lined up with the screen. I sit in 7, she sits in 8. In this particular theater, this is screen 9, so it might be off just a little bit this way or that way, but it's always in row D, so one behind where you sit at. So it's like the first row of basically what begins the stadium, as it goes up.
Yeah,
so I'm at the bottom.
I tried D for the longest there, and I just don't like it. I just don't like the way I fit in the chair. I don't like the height of the seat. I just don't feel comfortable there.
I get it. I hear you. So I find that interesting that what your you know what? Here, listeners, I can actually show you this. Now that I thought about it, let me slide the screen over yonder, and I can show you the theater's layout.
Yeah, the breaking point for me was when I went and saw that 28 Years Later movie.
Yeah.
And I was just uncomfortable the entire time.
Boop. So, I'll circle. Like I said, normally how these seats work is, so I guess it's this one. I'm normally next to the gap for wheelchairs, and so we're right here, 8 and 9. But in the bigger theater, I want to say it's theater 10. It's 7, 8 are the seats that are together.
Okay, yeah. So like I was in the smaller theater for Naked Gun the other day, so 6, 7 was the middle. Okay. So I guess on this one it'd be like 9, 10 for me.
Yeah. So we're sitting in the same seat. I'm just one row back behind you. Is basically what it is.
Yeah.
Usually Vanessa and I are here 7, 8, and 7, 8, and this is and you say you do 9, 10, or 7, 8 depending on what room you're in. And that, like I said, that's just how we get down. And I find that to be the sweet spot for the audio as well as for my comfort. That's where I sit. I'm relatively comfortable in those seats. So that's how I get down with that particular situation at that theater. I really love that theater. Yes, it's a great price and all that, but it's just actually, I think, a very nice theater. The staff is brilliant. They always just are good about helping you. They keep enough people up front at the.
It is overstaffed.
I think in the best way, though. I think because you need that sometimes, because understaffed is just terrible. Your experience is that much.
there's been plenty of times where I've gone in there and there's just like 10 high school kids standing around doing nothing. But they could be waiting on a movie to get out to clean. Like I don't know. Like I'm not trying to claim they don't do anything around there. The place is clean.
Yeah.
There's always people by the concessions. Like that's the thing about this place. The hook is they don't have a ticket. They don't have a box office.
Yeah.
If you want to print out your ticket, you got to go up to the concession stands because they're trying to trap you into buying popcorn and stuff while you're up there.
Yeah. And they're always great about it. The ticket's on your phone. You can go up there and print it out, and they'll take it over the thing if you just want to wave your phone at the people over there your ticket takers. They're good about it. No big deal. But I like having printed tickets. Once again, that's as you can see, that is Thunderbolt.
Well, usually, like I'm with a group of people.
Yeah.
Not usually. Like I guess I shouldn't say
oftentimes.
But like when you're with a group of people, sometimes they need the ticket stub to just fucking remember where they're going.
Yeah, true indeed. And that is helpful. And again, almost always, it's Theater 10, and as you can see, that is in this case D14. That seems like an off number for that seat. Why would I have been in 14? I don't know. It probably just was what was left at that point in time because I went to go see Thunderbolts like first weekend, so I probably just sat where I had to sit at in that situation. I think I know what it is. I bought tickets for that movie and ended up putting in the wrong date. And so I had to call them and be like, actually, I want it on this day. And they're like, we can do that, but you got to sit here. And I was like, that's fine. That was because it was my fault. I put the wrong date in there when I was buying the tickets. So, because I buy tickets not years in advance. I'm not like a pre-order ticket guy. But I will buy them a couple of days ahead of time, as long as I've talked to Vanessa about, hey, are we going to go movies this weekend and blah, blah. Like, she wants to go see Freaker Friday this weekend if we can squeeze it in.
Yeah, I'm going to have to coordinate that here soon because I got people who want to go see the new Demon Slayer movie that's coming out next month.
Yeah.
And that shit. Like, I was looking the other day because the theater already has those showings up, and they're already, like
selling out.
They're already selling.
Yeah. So oddly enough, I from what I'm watching, as we bounce back to this discussion at hand, I got Crunchyroll the other day for it's like 2 months for like $2 per month. And I was like, yeah, I'll give you $4 for 2 months of Crunchyroll. Sweet. And so I started a show that oddly enough I saw a bit of on TikTok. TikTok Tomorrow just post a damn whole story on. I was like, that's kind of cool. Let me go check it out. Let me see where this is at. And it turns out it's on Crunchyroll. So I started watching this show called Berserk of Gluttony. It's interesting. It's of course started as a manga, but of course it is also an anime. It's like 12 episodes. I don't know if it's going to be more than that. But this guy goes to buy a sword, and the sword ends up talking to him and explain to him all these people in this world have hit points. They have magic points. They have all kinds of things like that there. That's how this world works. And in this case, his specialty is gluttony. And he never understood it because it just meant he was always hungry. Like, it sucks. I'm always just hungry. What the fuck am I gonna do with gluttony? Well, he finds this sword, and the sword is able basically to explain to him, no, man, this is how gluttony works. Gluttony, it's gluttonous for souls. So when you kill, rats, bad guys, bad monsters, because basically, they live in a world with, in this case, it's not, what is it? Goblins? Goblins. It's goblins that he's out there killing. Kills a bunch of goblins. His base level will remain at 1, but all his other stats will go up. It's so funny that this is a show. You're basically setting up a card game with this particular character. But it's like I said, his sword is actually talking to him, explaining this shit. So his sword has a specialty of greed, and basically the sword wants his stats that he gets as he kills goblins. And all this is happening in this world. I'm like, I'm on the 3rd episode, but it's pretty cool. And I watched the dub. I'm not a sub guy in most situations. I'm not like I only am a sub guy for thus far in life one movie, and that's Kimi no Nawa, and that's because the English dub is ass. And so I just rather watch in Japanese than watch them do a terrible Japanese a terrible English dub that just doesn't sound right to my ears. So I'm not one of those guys who's like subs over dubs or whatever. I don't care, bro. I'm going to watch it and how I'm going to watch it and I'm going to enjoy it. But if you have Crunchyroll or simply the ability to find things on the internet, because that's what we are at this point in time, it's really getting back to the old hitting the high seas kind of situation lately. Berserk of Gluttony. It's pretty fun. Terribly animated, like all anime is in this day and age. Nobody seems to animate anything anymore. It's always like that 12 frames per second kind of situation, but it's drawn in a certain way so everybody falls in love with the style of the art. I'm like, we used to animate things. Go watch AITA. Change your fucking life. It's from 1988. Look how well that's animated. Go look at Lupin the Third from 1970 something and look how well it's animated. We used to be a country. In this case, Japan, because both those are for Japanese, whatever. I told you earlier, I'm really playing the shit out of Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's really great. If you have a Switch 2 and are like looking for a game, you should get that game. It's really, really, really great, and I highly recommend it. I finished the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. That's a Hunger Games novel, and in fact, it would be, if you were to look at it's a prequel to the Hunger Games, so it will be the first in the world of the Hunger Games. And I enjoyed the book overall, but I kind of didn't like how it ended up wrapping up. It just kind of ended in too fast, and the guy who would go he almost immediately went from being the hero to a bad guy at the end there, and I kind of hated that. That's just how they did that particular character. I am still listening to the clips. Let God sort them out. I am of course listening to Alfredo too, and today after hearing people speak so highly of it, I started JID. JID, God Loves Ugly. It is real good. And so people who are speaking highly of that particular album are not wrong. That shit is fire. And again, if you come to me and you think I think I would enjoy T's musical taste, you should probably get down with Jid's God Loves Ugly, as well as Alfredo too, as well as clips. Let God sort them out. I watched slightly behind live because I got into it a little late. New Heights yesterday with Taylor Swift, and I watch New Heights from time to time depending on who the guest is. I loved when they had Jason Sudeikis on. Was a great guest. He seemed to have a real good time with the fellas, and they did that one in person. They all three were in the same room together. Super enjoyed Taylor Swift as a guest on that podcast with the Kelsey Bros. It's the romantic in me that appreciates that Travis and Taylor have what seems to be a real good relationship. It seems to be working well for them. They seem to both have an appreciation for each other, a real love for one another, and I like that in them. And so it was a real fun listen. If you have not listened, I mean, you're one of few, because a lot of people was in that fucking live. That like 1.3 million people were in that bad boy on concurrence just then, and people, of course, have been watching it since. And of course, it made the news everywhere because it's Travis. I mean, it's Taylor Swift announcing. And yes, she announced her album, but that was like at the end of the episode. The entire time, they're basically discussing what's it like to be a couple of this magnitude? How's that work and what's that involve? What was it like going on tour all around the world and so forth? What's it like becoming a football fan, a big football fan, because your partner plays football, and her dad having had a quintuple bypass earlier this year. And I'm like, holy shit. And she's talking about taking care of her parents. Her mom just had a knee replacement recently as well. And so talking about that's basically, that episode is real. It's such a fun episode because it's these superstar people. But as it turns out, guess what? They're all just humans. I'm just talking about human shit. And it's very cool. And a couple of things Taylor Swift said on the episode that made me go, okay, you're right. One, Taylor Swift said she didn't have comments turned off on her social media for like the last 10 years. And I'm like, it's not like I got a bunch of comments coming in my way, but I'm also like, for whatever reason, I'm like, that feels smart as shit. Like if we didn't have so much bullshit happen on the internet because people be in the comments, just turn them bitches off. And that probably gets rid of a lot of nonsense. And I'm like, I might have to go ahead and do that, Tay Tay. And what did she say? She said, something about like that your feelings are expensive, and therefore you shouldn't be just letting motherfuckers get a hold of them shits basically for free. You know what I'm saying? Don't be on the social media and seeing somebody talking greasy and letting that bother you. You know what I'm saying? It's like you spitting facts out here, Tay Tay. I feel you. I just talked to Nick Jew last week. Oddly enough, and this is before I knew Taylor Swift was going to be on New Heights. And Nick Jew's not a test last week. I don't know Taylor Swift's music like that. I know 2 Taylor Swift songs that I know, and I probably know a bunch by osmosis, like I said last week. And so it's not like I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. But as we spoke earlier in this very episode, I am a Cleveland, Ohio fan. And Travis and Jason speak highly of this town. And so just based off of that, I love their podcast because they always talk about it basically from an Ohio guy POV. And it's always just fun for that. And like in Jason's place, a dad POV. And so I very much enjoy their perspective on their show when they have.
I mean, for those that are blatantly unaware, they grew up here.
Yeah.
And like, it's like was in Travis's GQ article that like dropped recently.
Yeah,
and it's been talked about in the past before. I think he talked about it previously. He literally begged the Browns to draft him when he was in the draft process. Like he literally cried in his interview, begging them to draft him because he wanted to play here so badly.
Yeah. And our coach at the time, Chud, in that name proper, did not. Now, I'm not going to say it was his fault. Who knows? Ownership might have been whatever. Maybe we just didn't need a tight end at that point in time. So for lots of things, lots of reasons. It's also the Browns. And it probably means he wouldn't become the Travis that he is had he been here. We don't have the organization that would have got him to where he is like Coach Reed did, and just respect on that. And I don't even fuck with Andy Reid like that, but dude's a hell of a coach and one of the best in the biz, and he helped mold that man into a man that he is. And so I fuck with that. And again, I love Cleveland, Ohio, and I love these guys who represent Cleveland, Ohio well. And I just think it's sweet that these two have found love in with each other. And some people be mad on the internet, be like, he used to date black girls. I'm like, it's cool he used to date black girls. I don't think Travis Kelce's a racist or anything like that there. I think he just saw Taylor Swift at her concert and was like, yo, she kind of fine. She don't do nothing for me. She just don't. She ain't got no titties and no ass. She does not speak to me in that way. I don't find Taylor Swift alluring in that regard. But I like that these two have found each other and found love. And it seems to be a good love and true love. And then, like I said, we all have seen that Taylor Swift has dated a bunch of dudes. And they all end up being shitty in some way. And I know it could be her fault too. Easy as that. Sometimes it just seems like that dude sucked. So I like that she seemed to have found a hometown boy.
There was a news report last week that the two of them were looking at a couple of houses in Chagrin Falls.
If you listen to the episode that eventually I'll get put up, we discussed it. I read that article on the show. Like I said, oddly enough, because you know how we're always a week ahead of everybody on the internet. I didn't know Taylor Swift was going to be on New Heights, and I had a whole discussion about Trav and Taylor on this show last week, fully ahead of them turning out that she's going to be on this podcast. That's just crazy that happened to work out that way. Yeah, we recorded last Wednesday, and like I said, buy some boxes at that AEW show. Me and Nick Jew recorded together on that day. So just random chance that I had a whole podcast discussion about Taylor Swift and Travis. And then they came on their own podcast and hung out and talked. So I think it's just that's just funny that it ended up working out that way timing wise. But I like that they have found love and they seem to love each other and seem to be doing well together as a couple. I like that they both seem to respect each other's work ethic, but also respect what each other does. I dig that she's become a football fan and it's like hype about draft prospects and the like. I'm like, that's hilarious. Like you've gone from at that point, you're a deeper fan than I am. I know the general draft because of course I keep a watch over the, who's who, but it's always me just asking Dan, all right, did we do good in the draft this year or not? and him saying yay or nay. You know what I'm saying? That's my level of depth. But she over here talking about players and shit like that. There's stats and stuff. But she tells a story about how her dad used to, watch football and sports in general. And now she had just no attraction to it because she was just like, basically like, I'm just trying to learn to play guitar in my room and singing songs. You know what I'm saying? And only reason I wanted to go to sporting events is because I might have got the chance to sing the national anthem at them. And I thought that was hilarious. Just good stories. I'm telling you right now, if you fuck with podcasting, assume if you hear you do, I would tell you to check out that episode of New Heights with Taylor Swift on it because I think Jason is a good interviewer to interview his basically sister-in-law. And of course, she's family now, and they talk about their family and how, the girls and blah, blah, blah. And basically, Aunt Taylor, when you think about it. And I'm like, yes, that's cool. So I dig it. Like I said, I watched it pretty much live last night because it came on like 7 p.m. yesterday. Sat on the couch playing Donkey Kong, listening to them people talk about their lives, and I thought it was a pretty good episode of that podcast. Their Jason Sudeikis episode is also something good. If you fucking Ted Lasso, I'd highly recommend you check out that episode because that's when basically is when he finally came out. I was like, yeah, we doing the fourth season of Ted Lasso. Came out from that show. So that's what I'm telling you. That's why you should probably give New Heights a listen every now and again. And when football season starts and they really get into it, and that's basically like September here, that's kind of one of the shows you want to listen to if you give a fuck about football because they talk about the sport itself. But they talk about it from a perspective of a former and a current player, and it's pretty dope to get their thoughts on that matter. So, otherwise, I think I ate everything. Yeah, that's watching Berserk, playing Donkey Kong, Red Ballot, music, everything. So that's what me and Box been getting down with. So let's wrap it up and send it on out to sea, y'all. Do it. You know the deal is. Please tune in every Thursday, as that's typically when we post shows and we record. Is around the 8:30 p.m. EST mark, where you can typically join us in the chat on YouTube and or Twitch. Make sure to like and comment on YouTube, and please rate, review, subscribe, and share everywhere else. That's Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the show financially, you got a few bucks to toss away. Consider joining us over at Patreon with members at the $5 and above tier. I try to give them each extra content each month and early access to new shows. We got merch over at tpublic.com/who's-just-stays Crunchy Milk, all one word. I need to refresh my shirts. I need to get some new SKiM gear myself. So at some point, I got to buy some new shirts, which is fun because, of course, I get like a couple of dollars back from TeePublic for buying my own shit, which is hilarious. That's how I get it now. And feel free to give us a call and or text message at 216-264-6311. That's 216-264-6311. We'd certainly love to hear from you and hear from you. We have. I got to jump over here to Spotify right quick into the comments, where, of course, it is the lovely April saying, I loved hearing about Lunch's magic gatherings. I love you, April. You were robbed, in all caps. Also, happy belated birthday to your youngest offspring. It's great to hear that all of you got together. And as much as I would have loved a show and hear the entire crew back together, it was even better that you got to live in the moment. Thank you for that. As always, Lunch and that hoodie, chef's kiss. I will be your quiet cheerleader at your next gathering. Winky face. April, love her some Box. And that's great. Box looking all fly right now. April, you just got the fresh cut. Preparing to use the reverend to betroth his not betroth to when you join people in marriage, I guess it's just basically the opposite. The Reverend Park got wedded.
They showed me the script last night when I was at my dad's, and I was like glancing over it and I was giving some feedback and stuff. And like my stepmom was like, "Oh, you gonna take this home and read it over?" And I'm thinking like, I'll bring a copy with me, but like I'm not fucking memorizing this shit. Like I'm gonna just read it in the moment when we're doing the thing. Like I'll practice a little bit, but I'm not about to be sitting in front of my mirror every night like trying to commit this shit to heart.
I truly don't believe you should be trying to memorize that shit anyway. But do you want to add anything to it, take away from it, or they just got a script they want?
They got what they want, and they just want me to be the parent.
Fair enough. I don't know. I'll tweak something. That's me. I can't help myself. I'd be like, love.
I've never seen my stepmom so stressed out before for something. Like when I got there yesterday, she was on the phone with Kohl's customer support because they like were sending her the wrong shoes and shit, and she was like flipping out and like she went full like justifiably Karen.
Yeah.
And I rarely ever see her like that.
Yep. That is your show title, Justifiable Karen. It's too good to just leave out on the floor, bro. Your alternate title becomes With Your Old Lonely Ass. Justifiable Karen. You had to wait all the way to this part of the show to figure out why I named it that. That's funny because it's like the second kid of hers getting married, right?
Yeah.
So what has her so nerved up on this one, I wonder?
Yeah, fuck if I know.
Women be shopping, man.
It's just funny though, because me and my dad, like, while this is all going on, we just keep making divorce jokes. Just like, why are you all so worried about this? They could be divorced in 5 years anyway.
50-50 flip. Not even 50-50. Actually, the numbers are like 55-45, right? This country got some strange divorce on me, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, she told me that she thinks my sister's gonna go with the hyphenated last name. And I was like, oh, she could be one of those people, huh?
I love that. Which goes first, though? The old one or the new one? I don't know how the hyphen works.
I have no idea.
If you know how the hyphen works, reach out to us. Let us know. Our missing man is the 216 zone, Tatum 216. Of course, send him some love. And if you do, I'll send him the love too. I'll make sure the love gets to him.
And send him your Monopoly Go stickers.
If you got it, we're that close. I'm 10 away, people. I'm not gonna hit that 10. There's too many golds in there. But I did get a 5-star gold out of a yellow card.
Album the second time, and I'm sitting here fucking opening the same shit over and over and over and over and over and over, so I can't complete the goddamn thing.
Do he spend a lot of bread on it? Is he like a whale?
No, he didn't buy anything. He just fucking works the trading card app and then gets insanely lucky with his opens. Like he's got like 418 trades on that app or whatever, like twice as much as me.
How do you know how many trades you got?
Like if you go if you go click on your profile, it's at the top. Like so, if you open the app, like you know how you go to your profile, I think it's like the bottom right corner or something like that. Yeah, and then you have it says you have 249. Is that right?
That is correct.
And I think you've done more trading on there than I have.
Especially when I get down with that shit. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. So I do trade hard.
But like sometimes I have 188. Like it took me like days to get people to give me the fucking Axakaya Mementos or whatever 5-star. Yeah. I was begging fucking people for that thing.
No, I can never get people to trade 5 stars. But 1 through 4, relatively easy trades happen. I did trade a 5-star yesterday because I had somebody need one of those gold ones I had, and I just trade straight up. I'm not the purpose like I need 10 stars if you want to go.
Yeah, I don't do that shit either.
Yeah. So I did trade for a 5-star yesterday in the Sticker Go app. If you're wondering what we use, accepted. Oh, it just the way it has it. It's like it has all of them, so it doesn't have. But yeah, I did a 5 yesterday with nothing to it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm kind. If you got a 5 that you want to trade, easy. But that's about the only 5 trade I've done this entire season in the app. Everything else, 1 through 4, relatively easy. I have not bought many stickers this go around. Usually I'll spend some bread, you know what I'm saying, and whatever. But I think I only bought like 2 stickers this entire go around, and that was just because I needed dice. And I was just like, if I give these people the same amount of money, I'm going to get way less dice if I just pay for this and finish this this pack out. So I just ended up doing that. I'm probably retiring from the game after this season because I've spent too much money. I've gotten to the point where I do feel like I'm gambling, and I'm not a gambler. And so I'm just like, I think I might have to.
Well, like we're getting to the point now where like when I complete the album, it's not even gonna be worth it for me to even try and attempt to do it the second time because there's no time left. So I'm just gonna have to sit on the fucking rolls for the next album.
Yeah. I doubt I'm gonna be able to get these 10 because, like I said, most of them are gold. I think 6 of them are gold, and 4 are not. And so I'm just like,
yeah, and like I do what I can. Like I pass, like that's why I
you slip me shit all the time. You slip me shit without even. I'll open it up and the sticker show up, and I'll be like, I gotta make sure I thank Dan. I hadn't even done my Tycoon Club today. It's about to be another day, and I need to get that shit done. Anyway, people, that's Lunchbox 2099. I am the internet's Tay-Rail 713. Thanks for joining in with us. Don't make me push in the traffic. We'll do it again next time. Peace.
What happened to your ass? It used to be beautiful.
Stays crunchy and milk.